You cannot humanely kill a whale. That's just not possible. So it's an incredibly barbaric and cruel industry. It has no place in the 21st century anyway. We've waged war against whale kind for hundreds of years. It's time to call it quits and learn to live in harmony and peace with them. There's just no excuse for this. There are hundreds of people employed in the Japanese fleet, and the interesting thing is that the union that supplies the sailors for the ships is a Yakuza-controlled union. So the mafia in Japan is very much involved in this, which is another reason there's a lot of crime involved in it, the smuggling of whale meat, and I think also the violence that was directed against us where I was shot at this last year came from the crew. I can't see the Japanese Coast Guard doing something like that. The Coast Guard were on the ship and they did have guns, but I can't see them doing something like that.
He's been hit by a bullet.
And only about 5% of the people in Japan even eat whale meat. Most Japanese people you run into have never even eaten it, don't even know what it looks like. So it's not like everybody in Japan's for it. But it's become this sort of thing like, nobody's going to tell us what to do. We're going to do it. It's the same thing for the Norwegians, the Icelanders, and the Faroese. They have the same kind of nationalistic, patriotic attitude when it comes to defending their whale claim. The sad part about the world political system right now is that outside of the 200-mile limit, which in fact is the majority of the Earth's surface, there is no enforcement of the law. It's really a frontier of free-for-all. You can do whatever you want. And that's why the oceans are dying. People are doing whatever, governments are endorsing people to do whatever they want. Oh, all the laws and treaties and regulations are there, and they all look real good on the books, but nobody's enforcing them. In fact, that's what Sea Shepherd's trying to do, is enforce them. We've been attacked many times over the years, but I'm proud to say that none of my crew have ever been seriously injured, and we certainly have never inflicted an injury on a single person. And we've also never been convicted of any felony anywhere in the world. We haven't been sued, and because we're intervening against illegal activities. But we've drawn a lot of hostility from governments and corporations because we interfere with their profits. In 1993, when I chased the Spanish and Cuban drag trawlers off the Grand Banks, that cost them $35 million. Last year, we cost the Japanese $70 million in revenues from their whaling operations. That's big money, so of course you're going to provoke a lot of hostility because of that. I think that we can end whaling. I think that we can end shark finning. I have to believe that we can do that. Sometimes the impossible becomes the only solution. The fact is that no species on this planet over the last 3 billion years has ever survived living outside the laws of ecology. There's only 3 basic laws of ecology: the law of diversity, the law of interdependence, and the law of finite growth. And we're in violation of all of those laws. So our days are numbered unless we learn to live in harmony with those particular laws. The strength of an ecosystem depends upon diversity of species within it. Every time we remove a species, we weaken that diversity, therefore weaken the ecosystem. Those species are interdependent with each other, and we're going to pull one of them, which is going to have significant consequences to ourselves. Right now, for instance, the shark. Pull the sharks out of the ocean. People don't like sharks, who cares? But the shark has molded evolution in our seas for 450 million years. It's an apex predator. It could have profound consequences if we remove it from that ecosystem. About 70 million sharks are killed every year, have the fins taken off of them, a lot of the bodies thrown back. We've come across them off of Central America, and we've seen them toss the bodies back into the water. Sharks are still alive when they do it. They just want those shark fins. There's no nutritive value to the shark fin. It's just a status symbol in China where they serve shark fin soup. They flavor it with chicken. It doesn't even taste like anything but chicken or whatever they're flavoring it with. And but that kind of utilization of the shark fin is going to drive the sharks extinct, and just for nothing, just for status. But it's an incredibly cruel practice, and it's certainly a wasteful practice. And we've discovered in like Costa Rica and Ecuador and everything like thousands, tens of thousands of shark fins out on the roofs drying and everything. Shark fin trade is next in profits on the black market only to weapons and drugs. So it's a very, very big industry. There's been many organizations that have predicted that the worldwide fisheries will collapse by 2048. I think they're being very conservative. They're collapsing right now. As Jacques Cousteau said, that oceans are dying in our time, and we have to do something about it. We're losing all of the big fish. We're losing the sharks. We've wiped out 90% of the large fish now, and so it doesn't look very hopeful. So the oceans cannot sustain this kind of onslaught. And unfortunately, the scientists who work for the governments, I have a name for them, they're biostitutes, they've been encouraging this all the way along. I mean, they said that the cod fishery wouldn't collapse all the way up until the day it crashed. And 20 years ago, we were predicting it was going to crash, and we were told we didn't know what we were talking about. Every time a conservationist predicts something, we're told we don't know what we're talking about. We're just a bunch of doom and gloom Cassandras. And the point is that what they forget is that Cassandra was right. I think that a lot of people do feel helpless because they see the whales being killed, the sharks being finned, and they feel that they can't do anything themselves. But the fact is that they really can. And it's not just joining my crew or supporting Sea Shepherd. I think that the thing is that you have to use your personal talents and skills and abilities and put them into service. Use your imagination and get involved. And I've seen so many of this, things like this happening. People, whether they be making films or going out and teaching children, people all over the world who are doing that kind of thing. A guy from Perth, Australia, who says, how come there's no Sea Shepherd Forum? And I said, well, we don't have the time to do it. He says, I'll do it. So he put it together. So these are people who have the ability to do that, the skills to do that. So really that's what I say is that the strength of the movement is in diversity of imagination, skills and abilities and talents. And let's all harness those together, and they all work towards the same common goal. And that'll make all the difference in the world.